Hey guys, what's up? It's me, E, coming back at you with another Clash Royale video. Sorry that it's been a while. A lot of stuff going on right now. Let's start off with the big news, which is Red. Red is something that Supercell has done the past few years. They do it in all their games. Apple is doing it. It's sponsored in the iTunes store. And basically, when you do an in-app purchase, this particular in-app purchase, as part of Red, in addition to getting all the cool Red stuff that you see everywhere, all the proceeds will actually go to fight AIDS. There's a charity organization that the money goes to. So if you were going to buy gems, specifically a pouch of 500 for $4.99, now is the time to do it because your money goes to charity. And maybe you haven't put any money into the game, but you've been playing it for a while, and you've been playing free. That's cool. It to each their own. If you just want to support the game, if you just want to get the gems, if you want to support, the fight against AIDS, now's a really good time to go ahead and pick up some gems. So, aside from that, on maybe a lighter note, I'm having a lot of fun playing in these challenges. We have some balance changes just hit. Hitting these two cards right here, the Mega Minion and the Lava Hound. The pups lost a % of health. The Mega Minion doesn't hit as fast, doesn't hit as hard, which means that I think minions can take him out now, just 3 minions. That's going to affect everything. He was in a lot of decks. Pretty much every deck had a Mega Minion, and it felt like every other deck, at least, had a Tombstone, which also got a bit of a nerf. Not exactly sure how I feel about that. The fact of the matter is that based on whatever meta you're playing, 1 or 2 buildings will always be better than the others, right? So if you're in a flight-heavy meta, obviously the Tesla might be good. If you're in a meta that is relying on swarm troops, the bomb tower may be it. So anyway, not sure how I feel about the nerf to the Tombstone, but hey, it has been in every single deck. So okay, balance it out. Let's change the meta up a little bit. Supercell, good job. So let's talk for just a second about something really exciting, and that is the upcoming level 1 clone spell. Epic rarity, so you should be able to get your hands on it. This spell, I believe, has the ability, now not saying that it will, to break the game. This spell alone is going to set up so many different combinations, which is good. We like variety, but it's mostly going to be used with high DPS troops. Now, it'll also do really well in swarm decks, because this will duplicate all the friendly troops in a target area, right? So let's say you've got a spawner deck and you've got, 6 barbs and 8 spear goblins, and you clone all that. Well, that's the tower. I mean, it was probably the tower anyway, but that's definitely the tower. Imagine a mini P.E.K.K.A. Imagine a cloned miner. Imagine, and this is where I think it's going to get people. So you send in your miner minion horde. They arrow down the minion horde. As they're throwing the arrows, you clone them. See, what happens? Where do the clones go? Do they stay in that spot? Do they, because we can't have 2 things occupying the same space. So where do they go? Do they spawn in front? Do they spawn behind? Do they spawn to the side? That could make a big difference. How do we know which one is the clone versus which one is the regular one? Well, if you've got a position, a zap, a poison, or something specific, you need to know which ones are the clones, because those are obviously the weaker ones. But the real reason that I think that this spell is so risky to introduce is because this spell is going to single-handedly require that other players use spells. Now, there are some spells, there are some decks that just don't want to run spells. They just want troops, and those decks are fun to play, but I don't think they're going to have a chance. You're going to have to run You're gonna have to run Zap. You're gonna have to run light or Fireball. You're gonna have to run arrows. You're gonna have to run Poison. You're gonna have one of those AOE's that can take out suddenly all of these cloned baddies. At 3 elixir, I would not be surprised if that gets bumped up to 4 after some balancing, but we'll see. I'm glad that the cloned epics are only level 1 and the legendaries are only level 1, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm a little nervous because I do feel like this is going to force certain things. It's like when the Hog Rider was so strong, you had to have a cannon. It didn't matter, and every deck had a cannon. So what they do, they nerf the cannon and they nerf the Hog Rider. So we'll see how Supercell does, how they handle this. It's an exciting change. I love new cards. I think it adds variety to the game. It certainly, changes the meta, and it changes the way players play. It changes what they think about when they play, and so I like that. But this particular card introduction does have me a bit worried. All right, so what have I been up to? What have I been doing? Well, I will tell you guys right now. I've had a couple decks that I've been running that have been fairly successful. This is the first one, and I don't really know what you would call it. You'll notice that I've got the Poison in there. I was running Zap. With Poison, or with Zap, it was a 2.8 elixir deck, so it was really fast. And the basic premise behind the deck is that obviously you get hog pushes, but you put them behind your Ice Golem. And if you can't do that, you at least use your Ice Golem to kite troops all the way across the map. I plan on doing a how-to video on that. Orange Juice already has a really good one. So Yarn from Orange Juice already did a great one on how you can essentially use one troop to kite their troops all the way around the map, and they never even touch your stuff. And it's really, really cool. And at 2 elixir, the Golem is so good. And here's the best part, guys, especially in this Tombstone meta, is that when he dies to all those skeletons, he blows up and kills the skeletons that are beaten on your Hog Rider. So he pairs beautifully with the Hog Rider. Obviously, the Mega Minion not quite as strong as he was, and of course using barbs to clean stuff up, the bigger troops. Fireball does work decently against this deck. Lightning is so-so. You don't have a whole lot of super high value troops, so Lightning hasn't had a lot. I did switch to the Poison just because I wanted to try something different. I've also run this with Fireball successfully. So anyway, that was one deck, and I think I got to 10 wins. I think I got to 10 with that one. And here's one that I just tonight actually shamelessly stole from Molt. If you haven't checked out Molt, I'll have a description link down in the description. Gaming with Molt, and it's been winning. It's been winning, guys. I don't understand it. It's not exactly a bait deck. It kind of looks like that, right? Because you got the Goblin Barrel and the Minion Horde and the Skeleton Army, but it's just a really fast tempo deck. You're constantly making smart plays. They typically run Zap and or arrows. Neither is really strong in this meta right now. The Minion Horde is the trickiest card to play, right? Because he's a gamble. If your opponent, if you've already seen them play, whatever their AoE ability is, then they're great to send in with a miner. But so often you feel like they've got a princess hiding in the back, or they've got arrows hiding somewhere, or a fireball, and they're just going to take it out. And any of those things is here you go, Yarn, a positive elixir trade. So I use them mostly for defense, and I use them very sparingly. Most of my pushes, I'm just cycling very quickly through Miner, Goblin Barrel, Miner, Goblin Barrel, Miner, Goblin Barrel. And let's take a look. I did just finish up. You can see I got another 12 win on this. Kind of a shame. I ended up losing. I had one loss going in, and then I lost Battle 11. Let's go ahead and see what's in the chest. This was not a grand challenge because I probably should be playing grand challenges. I honestly don't feel like the skill level is any different, guys, between grand challenge and regular challenge. I just think it's more of an investment. And when you're trying out new decks, like I was with this grand challenge, why spend 100 when you can spend 10, right? So Elite Barbarians, which I think are a not great card right now, but that's okay. Skeletons, sure, why not? Elixir Collector. Elixir Collector got a bit of a buff, so that's cool. If you didn't know, its elixir rate got sped up today, so maybe that'll see a comeback. I will tell you guys, if an Elixir Collector comes out and you don't do anything about it, you're probably in for a bad time. Probably in for a bad time. And the last card is a P.E.K.K.A. Okay, well that's cool. So let's take a quick look at some of the matches that we had here. You can see I lost the last two, and man, that was this Three Musketeer deck that I lost to. You know what? Let's show you a defeat. I love the red. I love the red. Side note: if you donate, if you do buy gems, you'll get this cool red King Tower. Notice my King Tower is all decked out, which is cool. I would love to see skins like that made available. Anyway, so I didn't really like my starting hand, and I went to, this is crazy, so you can't see it on my screen, but I went to throw Zap, and the Furnace wound up in my hand. And so I had to stop, pause, think a minute, pull the Furnace back, then grab the Zap, and I honestly feel like that's what that cost me the game, because otherwise that would have been a really strong push, and we probably would have gotten that tower down another couple hundred. His Ice Wizard, he did a great job with his Ice Wizard, just doing some work. At this point, I'm kind of save some elixir. I'll throw up just a minor. I didn't get a really good push. You'll see. So Log takes out the goblins, hits him, but I feel like he's probably got something to counter the minor minion horde, so I didn't throw that down. I just did the minor, and I'm really glad I did, because they would have just gotten wrecked by those Three Musketeers. So to counter Three Musketeers, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to put down a Furnace so we're not wasting elixir, and then we're going to use our Skeleton Army and a Zap. So that worked. It's a great combination. Boom. And they're going to clean that up, and Mega Minion in the back to finish that guy up, and we'll throw down a Log to take out the Princess. I wish I had used my minor instead. That would have saved, because as it stands, I've got a Mega Minion going down doing absolutely nothing, right? But if I'd sent a Mega Minion, or sent my minor down, he would have taken out the Princess and tanked, and then my Mega Minion could have done some more damage. So you can see I never really got into my flow on this one. All these one-off attacks kind of made it kind of rough, and I had to use my Zap down below instead of using it on the skeletons up on the attack. And so again, that weird thing that happens where you end up selecting the card that's flying into the space, so annoying. But that is definitely what happened to me, and was not a fan at all. So at this point, I'm behind. We've only got 30 seconds left. He's got Three Musketeers down. I just throw a Goblin Barrel. This game is done. He has great counters. He did play well. I won't take that away from him, but I didn't see any glaring mistakes, on his part. But there was nothing I could do. So anyway, that was a little painful, and we'll just kind of speed that up because you just don't want to see me lose, right? Yep, there we go. Okay, so good job, that guy from that place. Yeah. So that was a loss, but let's check out some of the victories. I got quite a few here. Let's check some of these out. This 2 crown, this one was pretty good. This is against a golem deck. Now, he didn't have a golem hog rider deck. Now, he didn't have his golem in the beginning, so that probably hurt him, and he's only got a level 3 witch. But watch what he does. So he's got this pretty big investment. this pretty big push coming down. Well, that's the beauty of the log. It nails him, and I still have the zap, so he tries to throw those in the back. I did miss one goblin, but minion horde. I knew he didn't have the elixir to counter, and we'll send the miner down. Decent counter. The Valk is usually a good counter because it is not uncommon for a miner, several troops to come down at once. In one of these places, I played my skeleton army against his hog rider and his whatever her name is that I just talked about, Valkyrie. And I didn't want to, but I did. So fire spirits, that's good to see and dangerous because that's going to be a problem for our minion horde. But that's okay. That's all right. So he throws down here, and here this is just great. Look at this. So he's got 9 elixir in that push, and that skeleton army just wrecked it, and he doesn't have anything to do, so he throws his goblin barrel down too because he knows otherwise that Skarmy is just going to destroy his tower. So we have a massive elixir lead, so we're going to go for a decent push. He does throw a hog rider, and maybe I shouldn't have countered. Maybe I should have just let my horde clean that up, but we'll throw the miner down, and that will get some things down the lane. He does have a minion horde that he drops, but it's too little too late. We'll throw the zap along with some fire spirits, and that's going to take that tower. So this was just about making great elixir trades, and that's one of the benefits of having an aerial deck is you can oftentimes do that. So he throws down that's the first time I've seen his golem, but the skeleton army just chews through it. I mean, just chews through it. So our counter push over on the right just gets in some really solid damage. He tries for a hog rider. We're going to counter with our oh, look at that the one dude with half of his health. Go Larry, go. Log on the right to hit the witch and make sure we hit the tower. Here I think I just zap. I think a zap. Yeah, so we goblin barrel his goblin barrel and then zap the minion horde, which may or may not have been a bad play, but his other tower's at 22. One log will clean it up, and that's going to make a nice 2-0 win over the hives from that place. So pretty good game. Granted, he only got his golem out once, so may not be a fair comparison. But sometimes that's how it is, guys. Sometimes you don't get the cards that you hope to get. We do have another one here against Jay from Why Not That? Hit me with a good luck. I almost always respond with a thanks, good luck. I'm pretty certain I did here. I don't know why I didn't show up, but that's okay. So not the ideal starting hand, but we're going to go for a push early on. He does zap, but he also threw down his golem, which tells me, hey, he's low on elixir. I have an elixir advantage right now. Granted, he's got a pretty big troop coming down the lane, but what do? Okay, well, we're going to throw down our furnace, and furnace is a decent counter because it's constantly doing damage. And I go, what do we do this? Skeleton army again. So skeleton army along with the log that, predictive log takes out some goblins too. That will shut down his lumberjack. Our towers are going to do a pretty good job cleaning that up. We're going to throw down our mega minion as well just to prevent a few hits and distract damage from the princess. And I decided to go with 2 attacks on either side. And you can see that zap. That zap actually, that was another 400 or 500 off the tower. So I did decide to do a split push. I probably should have just done the miner off to the left, but decided I was going to try and work 2 towers instead. So decent counter, but notice that those spear goblins placed the goblin barrel placed around that tower took several hundred damage off, and skeleton army just wrecks his combination there. Now that was smart. He put down his princess after he saw the log go by, but I know I have an elixir advantage. I don't really care. I have a very strong tower advantage. So that's always a good time to put down defensive buildings. And I'm just letting fire spirits do the work. at this point. It's at 521. We just hit double elixir. This deck shines in double elixir because you can cycle so fast. Goblin Barrel, Miner, Goblin Barrel, Miner. And you can see there, you know, he took out the Goblin Barrel, but you get the Miner up there, and then those 2 Fire Spirits both hit, and boom, and boom. And the Miner's going to go take out the Archer. I wasted a lot of elixir there because I really didn't have a good play. I was waiting for him to do something. A little sad I missed his Princess there, but not a problem. Mega Minion's going to clean that up and then work on the Golem. Now, it is only a level 3 Golem, so he struggled a little bit there. I'm going to zap down those Goblins because they would have taken up my Mega Minion, and my Mega Minion was busy doing work. Because this is a tempo deck, if you're not familiar with them, it is fairly important that you constantly are doing something to your opponent. You constantly are throwing some troop at them. That keeps them defending. It keeps them guessing. It's also pretty important that you be willing to split lanes, because when you split lanes, it oftentimes will mess up your opponent. So your opponent has a push in mind, right? Like they've got a combination generally that they want to work. Well, as soon as you start throwing things off, you break their rotation, and we'll talk about that more in other videos. But breaking their rotation can be key to winning because you have taken away their win condition, right? You still have yours, but they don't have theirs anymore. So anyway, that was a pretty good win. One of these games I had. I think it was this one against a fellow guildmate, clanmate. I think I did pretty well in that one. I think I had both of his towers down, like just crushed him. We played 2 in a row, and I told him, I said, "Look, man, if you had Zap, you would have wrecked me." And what did he do? He said, "Let's try it." I said, "Sure." He subbed it in, and he 3-crowned me. And it felt bad, man. but good job to him. He did beat me with that deck. So pro tip, if you're trying to counter this deck with a giant deck, don't necessarily use the zap on the Goblin Barrel. Use it to kill the skeleton army and protect your giant push. FYI. So anyway, so that's where we are. I'm excited to see what happens with this new card. Nervously excited. And if you have a chance to make a purchase and you're thinking about buying gems, now is really the time to do it. It's for a great cause, and you get some decent in-game benefits. So in the meantime, keep on clashing, and I'll see you next time.